Hello, welcome to Down with Dragons here on Monsters of Roll and Twitch. My name is DM Scott. With me, as always,
Chris playing Theobald Blackstaff.
And Mick playing Callan the Fool.
as you noticed, the screens have changed just a little bit. A lot happened last week, and we'll dive into that in just a moment. But first, we have a little tiny bit of housekeeping to go over, and part of that is inspiration. Theo, Callan, what is inspiration? Yeah, I know. I just threw you on the spot. Welcome.
Points that people give us for pity's sake. Oh, wait, that's just me. That's just me. And points that Mick gets when he does something cool and weird and unexpected and awesome all in one package.
Okay.
Does he automatically get an inspiration point every time he coughs something up too?
I mean, I'm not in control of that. I mean, maybe.
Kind of a recursive.
I appreciate your viewpoint on how inspiration works, but for any viewer who is watching and feels that a character had a moment that strikes true with them, an MVP of the session, or something just was particularly meaningful or funny to them. Yes, I get it. Callan does things, but that goes for any of our players or DMs, and any of those inspirations you'd like to send. Just email us. I think I'm showing the right screen. Down with Dragons mailbag@gmail.com, and inspiration for the subject line, or to add to our ever growing list of things that could pop out of Callan's mouth. Last week was a Terrafin coin, a very peculiar, weird-looking coin that we'll find out what's the deal with that. But continue adding your ideas, because always happy to get some extra ideas on all the things that could come out of Callan's mouth. That being said, I have inspiration to give out, sirs. I have inspiration for Callan. Chris, stop it.
It's anything.
For his amazing interrogation of the two Goliaths.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite the pre with Loon, and then Callan coming in like Loon. Good cop, bad cop within the same schizophrenic body. It for them was amazing, and inspiration for you, and that was from Catherine. Also from Catherine, Theo, you have one too, and it has nothing to do with pity. It has to do with he needs it. Okay, never mind. No, just joking. For the fact of Theo is such a business and survival soldier stoic character, and really in the last couple episodes there's kind of been this emotional opening that is starting to happen, and they have felt more connected to your character and excited to see more on where that goes, and just kudos for kind of diving into another aspect.
Thank you, Catherine.
Also, I have one that I'm automatically, it's in place. I put out the opening for if anybody had ideas for what to do with some of those tiers of inspiration. 4 has now been taken. 1 is obviously you get to re-roll. 2, you can re-roll with advantage. 3, still open. 4, you can treat it like a rogue's reliable talent. Spend 4 inspiration, and the roll is automatically a 10, and then you add whatever your proficiencies or whatever would be to it. So you can spend more for a guarantee of not a crap roll. I like that one. So, and by the way, that goes both ways. I can spend them for the same reasons. So yeah, I like that one. So that is now officially on that table for how inspiration can be spent. And then obviously the fifth, spending 5 points, is giving you a twist of fate. Next screen. All right. So it's been 2 weeks since we all got back together. Some technical difficulties that hopefully shall not be repeated have been sorted out. If you haven't noticed, for anyone watching, our last episode, which was on the 1st, I believe, of September, is now on YouTube as of yesterday. So if you have not seen that, by all means, watch to the end of this and then watch that, and all of this will make way more sense.
Or not.
Or not, or not. Let's be honest. It's probably fine to not know. So, last time on Down with Dragons, the halfway crew recovered from their multiple days of travel and ordeals from ritual monsters, brief family reunions, screwed up magical travel, falling from the sky, barbarian horde chasing them, mysterious figures saving them, who turns out to be Loon's stepfather. Loon finding out a lot of his hidden past, not being learned how to not be thought of and untied. Faith being restored by shared divine experiences, and a destiny being revealed to Loon. Loon answered that call of destiny. And after some Goliaths were interrogated, finding out information through a good Loon, bad Loon, crazy Loon experience, and then twin Loon, a bargain of sorts was made, and after safely releasing one of the Goliaths, who seemed to be less hospitable to the idea of not screwing things up, one of them decided he would make no promises in the future, but would deliver a message to a weird woman of the tribe that would meet Loon potentially, maybe a trap, maybe not, kind of half prepared for anything, but talk to him about the prophecy that was delivered about potentially, sounds like it was about Loon. And so him and Mr. Smith said their goodbyes to the group and separated ways. Theobald and Callan, after a brief goodbye and heartfelt exchange, found themselves 2/3 of a halfway crew. The two traveled east as Loon and Mr. Smith traveled north. Separated from their peacemaker, they made their way. And that is where we're going to pick up this week, as our two remaining heroes continue traveling east. We are going to be doing a more narrative skill check challenge for travel this time, due to the fact of there's quite a distance you have to cover in not so friendly of territory, and a lot of potential. So as we go through, there are going to be, it's not going to be a normal, initiative taking turns and everything. It's going to be a day by day with breaks potentially between each check, focusing in on the end of that day or a particular moment in that day, or skipping that data altogether. It just depends on where the dice and where Theo and Callan decide to go and what they do. So roll me initiative just so I can see who's rolling first. The rules of this is there is a DC. There is no rerolls. There is no using inspiration and all that, because this is not a personal skill check challenge. This is more you're narrating and giving kind of a sense of, is it a Monday or is it a Friday? Kind of feel to each day, the trials you dealt with, were they successful? Was it a bad weather? Just kind of the feel for the day. You can narrate it as well as you'd like, and obviously throw any flavor ideas you have, but the dice will kind of rule the outcome. So initiative.
Callan got an 18.
17.
Okay. All right. Additionally, there is a set DC. I will not tell you what it is, but due to the fact of no rerolls and all that stuff, every time you are successful, the DC lowers by 1. Every time you fail, the DC increases by 1. Crits, obviously, increase or decrease by 2. So you have a floating difficulty, which is kind of that momentum of having a good day and making progress and trying to feed off that into the next, or having some crap luck and it just snowballing. So on the very first day, hours after you have separated from Loon, Theo and Callan make their way. That day is just due to the timing of when everything happened. They basically separated from you all in the morning, because it was in the evening when everything was interrogation, everything. And then we'll just say, regardless of the fact of story in game, it didn't quite happen that way, but you all had a night's rest. You all separated ways that morning. So the first day of travel, Callan, make me roll and tell me what skill you're using, what obstacle or what thing that kind of explains what you're doing to move your travel along.
Okay, well, Callan probably isn't specifically focused on helping move travel along, because his mind is all over the place. He's in the Deadwood, where his family, when he was very young, originated from, as far as he knows. So there's the thought of that. Maybe there's family left behind. He knows that the children that he escaped with are out in the world, not dead, but maybe not safe. His mind's all over the place, totally taken by just the pandemonium of what ifs and what's going on and possibility. So instead of focusing on moving forward as fast as possible, he's focusing on trying to see if he can find any new tools in his new boon from Terrafin. So he is just kind of randomly practicing with his new cantrips, his new spells, digging holes, digging pits to sleep in, eldritch blasting trees, all sorts of stuff, just to kind of see if he can trigger anything useful.
Okay.
Using his I guess investigation to try to see how that works.
Sure, absolutely. So today is a day of self-exploration and distraction from yeah, I get you. Yeah, so let's have that roll, sir.
All right. So the roll is a 11 plus 5, so 16.
16. All right. before I tell you anything more, Theobald, after a long day of this, where would Theobald be at with that? Just frame of mind, whether he'd be doing his own version of that, or would this be annoying because you've got travel to make? You are deep, deep in the Deadwood. I mean,
Well, first Theobald would be, we need to get going. Stop blast the trees, like right here. And he's just going to walk away from Callan.
Yep.
And just going to be doing a circuit, and he's trying to get the lay of the land, try to suss out where he's at, using all to try to take a look at the terrain, how far they are from the right, because we're in the Deadwood. See if you can judge how far away we are from that southern break in the cliffs where it just drops. Gathering water, gathering likely pieces of wood for replenishing arrows as needed, just supplying up, because
you're in survival mode. You're in behind enemy lines.
I'm stuck with this happening. Trying to keep an eye out for like anybody like attracted to this, but also like, all right, well, we're kind of stuck here while he's digging holes and shooting trees. So like, I'm just going to take the opportunity to prepare as best I can.
Yep.
And learn where the train is here.
Perfect. So you all break from Luna, Mr. Smith. They head north. After a short time, you two gathering your things together, you start traveling. I mean, the first, I'd say 2 hours are definitely a little quiet. Almost to that, like, not quite awkward, because
also
you guys
watch for where these traps are.
Yes. And like, kind of just a little bit apprehensive of it's still the same Callan, the same Theobald, but yet there is something different. There's something missing that's normally there. So the first 2 hours go by fairly quiet and fairly just business. Theobald, you do during that first day find that first couple hours find some very interesting traps. Some of them are like definitely ones where it's like you've made that yourself, and even just come across like telltale little things where it's like those were left obvious for someone who knows to look for them. Don't trip that. Some of them, you know, as simple as deadfalls or as snares. There are a few that seem to have explosives set within trunks that have been covered by brush that are half chopped down, that would cause almost a section of the forest to all just start collapsing, all from one set line that sparks a fuse. Really elaborate stuff. Some of them are literally even like half Callan, kind of as he's walking and looks a little distracted, almost like there's an interior monologue going on in his head, thinking of things and looking around, looking curious, and almost like he's looking for something. And as he passes just a hair's breadth underneath a line, which is the only reason you saw it, where it's like, oh, you know, you make your way for those 2 hours. And after about the third hour, suddenly a new hole is suddenly emerging from the ground, and dirt being spread over, moved, as occasionally a flock of birds kind of settles in some trees and shooting off a tree limb. Kind of somebody just both experimenting, but also maybe blowing off some steam. And Theobald, as you in a way are almost blowing off your own steam by just looking and muttering to yourself, and almost talking to yourself, berating Callan in the way that you know your father used to berate you, of kids doing this and not understanding how serious things are. And it's like, and that hits you too at a certain point while you walk. This goes on for hours, like off and on, back and forth. And Callan every now and then, kind of as you kind of hit a note where you just like, seriously, like, we don't know what's around here. And it's like, sorry, I was just trying some. I just didn't know. Sorry. Geez, so serious. And then you get like 30, 40 minutes and, you know, it gets to evening and you're starting to look for an actual good camp and setting up, collecting wood. You've been kind of occasionally finding good things and looking for good spots. And Owl actually is the one who found a really good, nice kind of overgrowth of some trees with a hill that kind of overcuts or has an undercut to it. And it's a good place, especially if you dig kind of what are they called? Dakota fire pits, where it's dug into the ground more and has the, so that way campfire is had with a very low illumination into the surrounding area. And it's as you two are building this that, Theobald, your frustration level is probably at a, I wouldn't say a boiling point, but definitely just a full day simmer. And Callan, in your own way, I think you're potentially maybe even in the same place, because you're both, like you said, in your own head thinking of potential family who could still be even around somewhere here, and kind of distracting yourself and trying to just not be so down, which Theo is a constant reminder of, just so serious, so down sometimes, that you know that this is a dangerous place. You're not dumb, but why just dwell on it? It's like, you know, and you two are in your own ways probably at similar places. And as you two are building your fire, you're going to who has actually, it doesn't even matter, I can just roll for it. Even or odds, gentlemen, whoever says it first.
Odd.
Okay. Callan, I rolled an odd. You'll hear suddenly, as you're both kind of just not talking a whole bunch to each other, really, you know.
Not after a whole day of this, no.
Oh, I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. Be strong. We will find you. Hurry, though. Things are getting strange here. Please be safe. You recognize the voice. It is Blink.
Talking to
Callan. You hear it in your head.
Okay. Hey, Blink just called. They're trying to find us. What I'm talking to Theo right now. Oh yes, we're in the Deadwood. Where are we, Theo? Oh, I thought I was talking.
I know,
to Theo.
I understand, but 2020 hindsight, you've used sending and know how
Too
it
late.
works.
Too late.
I had to do that. I'm sorry.
I swear I know how to use these things.
Shit, I think I just wasted it.
like, does he realize? Like,
I think he does as he's saying it, and he's just tied to it. Where it's like,
does Theo realize that what happened here now?
Oh,
Like,
roll me an intelligence check.
Just straight intelligence check. 10. Would you shut up already? We're in the woods. You know where we're at.
Yeah, I know. Whatever.
We're not gonna be here long. We keep making all this noise. Someone will take care of that for us.
Well, what are we
Well,
wasting
I
all
take
this
that back.
effort
We're gonna
wondering
be-
what's
we'll still
out there?
be
Why don't
here.
we just
We'll
trigger
never leave.
what's out there to come show who's out there and do the work
It's
for
the
us?
Freaking Deadwood, and there's a lot out there, Callan. This isn't your growing up safe in your village with all your little children friends and the nursemaids. This is
You
the
don't
big
know
bad
anything about
woods.
my children, friends, my
No, I don't.
growing up.
But I know what you're treating this as, and it is not a walk in the freaking park.
I know, but I'd rather see him coming than have him sneak up on me.
Oh, we could sit here where you see him coming for days and days and days. We won't last that long, though. It's not like there's 3 orcs sitting out there in the woods coming for us. There's not one tribe of Goliaths. This is the Deadwood. Lots of threats, lots of things. You can make all the noise you want, and just they would come for days and days and days and days. It took an entire brigade to even just keep this locked down to keep, and that was still with raids coming out of the woods left and right. You and I cannot take on the entire Deadwood.
So that owl of yours?
Yeah,
that-
you, me, and Owl can't take on the entire Deadwood.
No, but like, is he like your friend, or how do you do that?
What are you talking about?
Oh, your owl thing. I've just been
I
paying
was-
attention to it lately.
Turn away and walk away. He's not even like, we're not even having the same conversation. He's just,
You've got sticks, so turning away is literally looking and seeing you've already got your pile. So it's like
I'm
start
going for
lighting.
A walk. I'm gonna walk out. I'm out. I'm gonna go run a patrol around the area and just calm down.
Okay. So Theobald breaks camp, starts just storming off. Callan, you're
I'm making a cozy little den under the ground.
oh yeah, start just
Yep. So I'm using mold earth, and how it works for Callan is it looks like he's digging, but like in fast motion, like just cartoonish, just throwing dirt up and making holes.
awesome. So this as the
Cloud turn in
camera
the back of my head as I'm walking.
yeah,
away.
as the camera backs up to still have both characters in frame, all of a sudden just dirt starts flying up as the other one walks away, frustrated as this plume of dirt.
Mhm. Then before I, sink below the level of the earth and kind of look at Theobald, see what he's actually up to, and maybe if there's something I see he's trying to do, surreptitiously help him with mage hand or something. Ooh, you dropped these sticks or something, or arrange the fire.
Okay. So you kind of just get things set up so when he comes back, you've done a lot around here. Like you've that undercut is now a hollow into, almost a cave that has been dug in for safety and shelter. And all of the sticks are both the original kindling and smaller sticks are all stacked with all of the progressively larger sticks and branches and logs all stacked perfectly in their own organized little thing. Theobald, you're gone for probably about 20-30 minutes.
Oh, I'm gone for a long time. Yeah.
And you kind of make a circuit. Roll me a perception check or a survival, depending on, I'd say perception, seeing as with frustration, I don't think you are being as thorough as you sometimes could be.
Yeah. 8.
Freaking Deadwoods, man. You never know. Death is around every tree. But you
back in camp.
Or back in camp. You make a circuit around, and as you get back, like kind of start to make your way back, it's pushing probably 40 minutes or so at this point. You can see Callan from a distance is hurrying himself, and he is dug a very elaborate den But the fire, all around the fire, everything's ready, and if anything, potentially even started, like, because he used the earth shaping to make a perfect pit, and there's a very, very barely visible firelight coming out, and he seems to be keeping himself preoccupied, but in a very useful manner, that even in frustration and in his experimentation, is using it well. And you'll kind of in that moment be just standing watching, and from over your shoulder you just hear whoo, whoo, and owl sitting up on a branch, and you just get a sense of you're not the only one.
Okay. I will go back in quietly.
So Theobald re-enters camp.
All right, I'll invite him to. Oh, hey, sit down. If we need to hide, I made a little den. It's even got an unseen servant butler tending to the tidying place up.
Yeah, you do see there is one like branch with leaves on it that is almost doing a sweeping motion.
It's got some benches cut into the earth, a little inset shelf to put all your, stuff, your clothes while you're resting.
It's very cozy.
Tables.
Very cozy, Kellen.
Yeah, and no one, if we stay down here for the night, no one can see us, right?
Right. You'll be able to collapse us all when we leave, so.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Good work. You did good work with the interrogation too, by the way. You did a good job. I'm a little worried about leaving Loon when he can't even drag his own prophecy out of somebody's mouth, but you did very, very well.
Well, I think he's learned enough from us that he can kind of leverage that weirdness into some mysticism that, gets him somewhere.
Oh, he's got Mr. Smith, so hopefully he helps keep him alive long enough to figure out how to do that. But
yeah, I wish him well.
Callan. You kind of after that just sit on like outcropping is something you've carved into the dirt a little bit, just sitting near the fire, and next to you see some moss, just half a body, but just kind of
which half?
Top half that kind of all of a sudden it's like just looks like moss, just lay, and all of a sudden sits up, and you just hear a psst, hey.
Oh, hey, what's up?
You guys gonna be okay? I'm getting a lot of tension here. You guys are you guys fighting? Are you guys a couple that's fighting? I mean, like, he kind of gestures towards really the woods, and he's just like, we kind of feel some negativity here, man.
Okay. So what would indicate to you that this is negative?
And you see kind of just in the moss, and like what makes his hands kind of just draws in deeper into his face area, just like deep, serious kind of half, not a sad frown, but just serious frown, and like deep just like clenching eyebrows, and just kind of then puts his hands on his, it's kind of
Oh.
the vibe I'm getting in general around here.
Oh, so
And-
have you seen a lot of people with that kind of vibe around here?
No.
Oh,
Mostly more, and then he just like stretches his head and like pulls down and makes himself look grotesque and just angry, and he's like he's like a lot more of that.
oh yeah. Well, yeah, we're not like that, so that's better, right?
I think so. Like, it doesn't feel as mean, but it feels different mean.
Yeah. We're feeling something different. Maybe we just have to figure that out.
You should talk to each other, because plants talk about everything, man.
Mm, yeah. Okay.
I got a
I-
friend, he's an oak, smartest guy I know. He's been around for like ever. He always says the best thing you can do is face south. No, that doesn't apply to this. But the best thing you can do is, if things are bad, leave. Nope, that's probably not it either. Just stretch out your roots and share, man. That's it. Just stretch. We're all family. But your friend's giving a lot of weird looks, and he just lays back down.
Thank you. Good advice.
Theo, you didn't see
I
the
didn't say
moss,
anything.
but you
I didn't say
definitely
anything, Kellen.
started talking.
Oh, yeah, I was just talking to the moss. You know I do that, right?
Yeah, no, Lou and I caught on to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why do you talk to the moss, Kellen?
It's not a big deal, but I
We
kind of
got
feel like
nothing but time. We're deep in the woods. We got plenty of time for these kind of conversations.
I appreciate that, but I think right now, I think you're right. I need to take it more seriously, and I appreciate your taking it seriously, because I know where we are. Even though I came from where I came from, there was no pretending that it wasn't violent and serious, even where I came from. I get that. So I'm not guaranteeing I won't, try some stuff, but yeah, I get that. So thank you for your soldierly wisdom, I guess I'm saying.
All right.
I didn't like doing that, Moss.
Yeah. I ain't much of a soldier, much more. But
All right.
would like to help you. I'd like us both to get out of here alive. And if I can help you do that, great. If you would prefer not to, then we can go our separate ways too. I hate to leave you out here. I think we can assist each other.
As you say that, Owl, you didn't realize it has landed next to you. And as you just make that comment of like, hey, if that's what's got to be done, we'll go separate ways, you get a sharp bite. And it's just like, ah!
All right.
And just, Callan, yeah, you saw Owl just, and then sit there and then,
Oh, does he do that often?
No,
Oh, okay.
apparently I'm with you thick or thin.
Oh, okay. So
But if you could do your part to help keep us alive, I'd appreciate it. And not bring the entire Deadwood down on top of us. Or set off one of Mr. Smith's explosive tree traps.
Callan, you did
Stop.
not see that.
explosive tree traps. What?
Stop shooting the trees for a little while until we get out of his booby-trapped area.
Okay.
It's quite clever. There are trees and they're packed with something that smells like the type of explosive things that you run into once in a while, with a spark trap, and it
Why
looks like
didn't you
we
tell me
set
about
off the
those? I can
entire
help with
forest.
those.
I'm sure you could.
Mm.
I'll let you know the next one I see.
Okay.
How far east have we traveled? A day's worth?
Oh no. One day.
Oh,
I'm giving you guys full props of travel. You guys, you'd estimate, just for the fact of landscape and through the woods, no path and all that, you've made it a firm like 20 miles. But if you're anywhere roughly where you think you are, if you actually just to the outpost is there on the edge of the Deadwood, you're a firm 3 weeks away. And that's perfect weather, nothing barring your way, just straight making 20 miles at least every single day.
I'll shut out a comment. Near as I figured, we're about a month out from the western edge. Less if everything goes well, which our luck won't happen. So if we could get a hold of Blink, that'd be helpful. And then we could maybe find a landmark or something, although there ain't much out here. But maybe there's a fountain or a stream or something that she knows of that we can navigate to. Otherwise, it's going to be at least a month slog east. And that's if we don't call the entire damn Deadwood on top of us.
be serious for up to a month. Got it.
You don't have to be serious. Just quietly, please. Just a little more quietly or a little more randomly, not exploding every tree in an area and bringing people down on us who think we're a threat. We're trying to be non-threatening at this point.
Okay.
We got at least three. We got at least 3 out there. We got Loon's tribe of Goliaths that I'm pretty sure in days he hasn't swung to his side yet. So they're out there. We've got the Bloody Fist somewhere. We didn't quite get a chance to track that down with all the excitement. Not that they'd be in one spot necessarily anyway. And we've got the Dragoons who don't know who we are and might be just as likely to shoot us as the other 2. That's not to mention just all the other shit out in the Deadwood.
Okay.
There are, and you would remember, I mean, just going for player knowledge of like most of the time when you think of just crappy things somebody could encounter in the woods that would want to hurt them in the Deadwood, most of the time it's like specifically the dire version of those creatures.
That's all I'm saying, Kellen. We can laugh, we can have a good time, trade stories, we can get through this. We're going to have to rely on each other. We're going to have plenty of time to learn about each other. Just, there's a lot more out there than you and I can handle, even with Owl. Thanks, Owl. I know you got friends, but I don't know if they're ready to tackle the entire Deadwood either.
All right. But I do have friends, but Owl's pretty cool too.
Yeah. When he's not biting people.
Yeah. Could you teach me how to have a friend like that, but
How
that
to-
doesn't bite me?
Call something in.
Is that what you do?
I can try.
Oh, would you show me?
Yeah. I don't know if we can do it tonight.
There would
I'd
be
have to
enough
stop
time.
and think about how to do it. This was not something that I was taught per se. So to slow it down and think about how I'm doing it and try to explain it, the words, this isn't my thing. I'm not normally a God bother like this. I don't know the words per se, but I can try to show you what I do and what I think and what I'm feeling when I'm trying to call Owl.
Yeah, that would be great. And I don't know if I can do it, but now
I don't know if this will work. The owl comes to me from the maiden.
Hmm.
I don't know if you'll be able to call something from the maiden or from your friends. I don't know if that's how that works. This is new to me.
It's all good. You know, Theo, you might not have the whole picture, but you're giving me a piece, and that's helpful. And just to throw it out there, if we get a chance to get more information on all these threats in the forest, our best bet might be to divert them towards each other.
Get that chance. We did that plenty of time in the Dragoons and the Scouts.
You know, you always surprise me. I knew you're a soldier. I knew that's the kind of stuff you did, but just got a lot of cool tricks.
Worst comes to worst, Callan. You assume the shape of whatever's coming at us and you blend in until you can get free.
Now, that
We can
sounds
get
fun.
both of us out of there, great. But need be, you've got to fall back. And I want you to take it. I would expect you to take it. And I'll do what I can, and I'll expect to meet up with you wherever and whenever we can. But you have a skill there that is amazing for this type of situation. Don't waste time deciding whether or not to use it or not. If it gets that bad, do it and I'll catch up. Or not. But I'd rather that you took that chance and not waste this. I've survived a lot. The maiden's got my back. She's pulled me out of some dark places. And if need be, she'll pull me out again or not. But that thing where you look like other people, that's an amazing talent. And if you need to, do it and don't feel bad about me.
Well, I hope
it's not your nature, but
I hope you come to the realization that I've got your back too, Theobald.
you did good with the interrogation. That was fantastic.
They didn't even notice that I didn't have the same accent as Loon Sentinel.
Yeah.
Wasn't that hilarious?
You were digging their grave right in front of their eyes. They may have been a little distracted.
Yeah, I know. You kind of miss things like that when you're about to, possibly die.
Charmed. Sorry, owl coughed. Technically speaking, just because you spent the majority of your time traveling, you do have enough time in your day to accomplish a personal task. So if you two on this night would like to, you can spend time trying to make Callan understand how you do what you do. Yep. If you want
and for this pace, right, there's no sense killing ourselves on a month's travel. This is a marathon. We have to reserve our energy for those times when we do have to fight. And so
push yourself much farther. Yeah.
Theobald's not going to be pushing for grueling pace for a month.
Yep. So for starters, Theobald, I would like you to roll me. Let's start off with just a straight intelligence check for you trying to not know how to explain a spell that isn't function that way for you being a cleric.
Be a 4.
4. Okay. So tonight, it's a lot of talking about you kind of even go back a little bit.
Charcoal and the herbs are important for some reason, but I don't know why. And you gotta I do it in this bowl. I don't know this. I'll dig that out of my backpack. I do it in this bowl. I don't think it matters which bowl you get. And that's going to be about as useful as going to be then.
Yeah, it's a lot of like sharing of like when you came back, Owl was
Yeah.
there, and you haven't explored that relationship too much because it was just as you came back and things were obviously different. There was this new thing that like this little extra consciousness that has just been there since you woke up.
Yep.
And so you're half exploring the idea of this as you're trying to explain and convey those ideas to Callan.
I'll just,
for that low
I'm
roll,
not explaining
I'm
this
not
very
even gonna
well.
let you
I'm sorry.
make a disadvantage roll on trying to understand. Right now, if anything, I feel this is probably just more of the building blocks of the first check. And if anything, maybe a little bit of you getting to see another side of not so sure Theobald, because Theobald in most everything he does is sure about. And this is an area where it's like he's grasping at straws and doesn't like the footing is I'm on jello, you know, like, and he's trying to still maintain that I know what I'm talking about, but I have no idea, but I'm going to try to make it make sense because that's who I am. And I don't know. So it's a lot of that.
Callan realizes he probably has to investigate in multiple different angles.
Yeah, and you know what? And at
I'll
the end
keep
of this
thinking
night,
about it too. If I think of a better way of explaining, then
I'd say kind of as you guys get to that point where you talk into the evening to the point where you're ready for bed, Theobald, you do get that sense of like maybe just the idea of him asking you these questions and you getting to share some of that, where it's like, I think I really need to explore this bond a lot more. And
kind of look at Owl.
Yeah, I'll just kind of just straight back at you, who's been going back and forth between you two. And as you kind of have that thought, just kind of like yeah, you're missing out, you know, underutilization of talent, you know? So that will close out the first day. Theobald, second day. What are you doing moving east?
We need to start stretching all the talk about we've got at least 3 large threats. We'll have made them a little more determined in the morning too. All right, we need to start trying to figure out if any of those 3 threats are anywhere in the vicinity. So I'll be sending Owl out and be paying more attention to tracks, looking for streams, looking for trails, looking for anything that might be used, any evidence of war parties coming through here, any evidence of trees being chopped down by humanoid hands, any signs of any kind of non-natural, or I mean it's the deadwood, but
and it kind of
any kind of artificially altered or changed or
not naturally occurring changes to the landscape.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Makes total sense. And adjusting course potentially as needed or whatever. Yeah. All right. Yep. What skill are you using then?
It'd be a mix of survival and perception, I would think.
You may use either because they both make sense. You can focus on the looking part, or you can focus on the survival changing, you know, with.
Yeah, it's the same modifier.
Oh, okay.
So, but 8.
I would like a declaration of what you're using, just for the fact of it's still the normal rules still apply.
I will use survival.
Okay.
It seems like woodcraft type things.
So 8.
Survival. 8.
Okay.
Love how I roll. How my skill check challenges seem to be consistent.
Okay. As you are making your way on that second day, Callan, as the day is going on, you wake up, you guys had a nice talk the night before, you had a very frustrating day with yourself and each other, but it kind of came to a nice close. You guys actually, through not at the end of it, not even talking about the things that were bothering you, talked about something you both were interested in, even though nothing was accomplished, but yet was. Where would Callan be going? Like, like I feel like he might start off that day of like, all right, focus, you know.
Yeah, well, so starting off the day, collapsing the
Yep.
campsite,
Getting rid of tracks and like the evidence
Yeah,
that you were ever
probably
there.
would kind of forget to be subtle about like caving in the little den.
Perfect. Okay. So instead of it being a natural slow collapse, instead it's like I just take the walls out.
Yeah, and it just sinkhole.
Wince
Eh?
and keep moving. Don't look.
And then he'll look at Theobald. Oh yeah, we want to be discreet, and then kind of clean up the mess a bit. Mold earth to make it look more natural.
A little more packed earth instead of loose. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's definitely going to be still distracted, but more focused on taking cues from Theobald of what are we looking for.
Okay.
So and see if he can throw any help his way.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, open and just trying to do Callan's best with that. I get it. So second day goes. Unfortunately, as the day goes on, and he starts off kind of a little bump right in the beginning, but hey, still very effective. And you start traveling. First hour goes by, second hour, third hour, and you start to see like the weather temperature starts to shift, and it's getting colder and damp. Clouds overhead. By the time it gets to like lunchtime, when you guys take a little break just to eat some food real quick, whether it be through some berries and things like that, or just dried meat, it starts to rain. And you keep moving forward. You're not seeing any evidence through just as you're traveling, or even through owls kind of surveillance, any evidence of anything at all in this area, which is both kind of nice. And then after that feeling of, oh, thank goodness, shit, there's not even animals really in the area, which then isn't as nice. And you keep moving and you're not seeing anything that gives evidence of anything, but the weather sucks. You guys are wet. By the end of the day, you're both exhausted from most of the time making good time and travel, but there were areas where, I mean, you're slogging, some low river lands, and it was a Monday, man. You go into that night wet, even with what little fire, especially with the aid of Callan, and just mixed magical means and everything, and you have a fire. It's an unpleasant evening, and I would think a quiet one, just from sheer exhaustion as well as weather. You go into the third day. Callan, how is the third day looking? Still raining either way, just to let you know. And yes, Theobald, that was a failure, but that's fine. There's no 3 failures. It's just that was below the DC, so it has gone back up to its original.
Okay.
This is the safest skill challenge you'll ever have.
Doesn't matter. I still roll like crap. So
it's coming.
Sure. So
Callan's
Callan,
Den. Sorry,
Callan
I just
realized,
got it. If you said it before, Callan's Den. You made a den. Callan's Den. Sorry.
Hey. Throw a couple of dorks in there, and it's a great one.
You did have a couple of dorks. Sorry. All right. Sorry, I interrupted.
Okay. Yeah. So, without being crazy, Callan will realize that the weather's a drag. Our mood is a drag right now. So kind of force himself to, come up with some rapid fire banter just to keep the mood up for himself. But if it helps Theobald too, great. So trying to appeal to the old soldier. Oh, the rain's great, right? Because the enemy can't hear you or smell you sneaking up on them. Maybe some old throw some old toasts out there that he's heard from like the Shield Hand Guild. Just try to keep the mood up with performance, basically.
So morale, which in travel like this is important.
Yeah.
So what is that roll?
All right, performance roll. It's 23.
23. Very nice. DC lowers. Okay. So yeah, third day. Callan is just, I mean, as the day goes on and the rain keeps going, and Theobald, you've had plenty, you remember many, many, many times doing days and days and days just in this environment. It's very familiar. And it does, especially with the last time you were here, it puts you in a sour mood. But you have this beacon of good spirit behind you at all times, of the bright side of things, of, it's like, hey, yeah, it might be wet, but they can't hear us. So the next time I, shoot that tree, it could be thunder. Look at the bright side, just little, throughout the whole day, to the point where at a certain point you can't help but just every now and then just kind of, yeah, that's true. Just kind of, it starts to break some of those clouds even that you have. And as you, are getting towards starting to look for camp, as Callan tells just a joke about the difference between orcs and goblins, and just
would he tell a joke about difference between orcs and goblins?
Oh, sure, he's from the Deadwood. He can have fun with his own. It's in the
from the-
punchline.
Yeah, I
From
might
the
get
punchline-
offended at orc jokes.
From the orc, yeah, it'd be an orc joke, probably.
But yeah, the punchline is on the goblins.
Okay,
So
all right.
and by the end of it, you're like, you hit that punchline and you're actually laughing, and then all of a sudden Owl pings you with the fact of, Owl is positive you're being watched.
Yep.
Owl cannot find clear evidence of what, but like the sense you get is kind of that old like lizard monkey brain that we all have from back in, evolutionary, of like all that hair on the back of your neck standing up. And it's like, and you've learned, I pay attention to that feeling, and just there it is. And as you close the third day, you are positive the trees have eyes.
Callan, we need to, I'll just kind of turn and like I'm pointing, keep one on focus here, sorry. Turning as I'm like pointing out a root or something, and try to give, like I'm giving Callan a hand over it, and keep moving. But I was pretty sure something's watching us. Let's let them think that that's a surprise yet.
Okay.
Just like on that run up by not Hilltop, Highport. Just like they run up on Highport. Maybe we'll get a chance to put the drop on them if they don't know what's going on.
So that feeling
struggling on.
continues for hours. No one ever sees anything. But Callan, especially now that it's been pointed out, and it's kind of that thing where it's like, you've been so focused on just trying to keep things light because you, like Theo said, you got a month of this. So it's like, we can't lose hope on day 3, that you hadn't really picked up on that. And now that you said, like, you realize too, that it's like, oh yeah, there is a creepy feeling here. Yep. All the more reason to be cheery because, oh no,
Theobald will chip in, and that last one was a good one. I hadn't heard that joke before. I've heard a lot of jokes.
Yeah, I feel like Theobald has the worst version of those jokes, probably between the two. So going into day 4.
Well, I think Callan might top the day off with, if we're being watched and maybe someone can hear us, offer a toast to Theobald. He's got the flask out and offer it to him, and just kind of an offhand comment with the toast, who's like, well, here's to those who've seen us at our best and our worst, and to those who can't tell the difference. And just kind of look around.
Take a sip of that to that, but that's all he'll take is just a sip.
Going into the 4th day, Theobald, the trees have eyes, and it is still raining.
It's been on us for 2 days or 2 hours at least last night, and then all through the night.
Should we have Mr. Decoy move around?
I don't know how far you can send him or how much that'll help. Let's redirect south a little ways.
Okay.
May or may not throw just. There's no sense going a straight path. If they've got any more familiarity with this area than we do, they should someone be able to race ahead and lay a trap for us. But if we zigzag, serpentine our route a little bit, I'll try to keep us more or less headed west or easterly as best I can, but we're going to start varying this a little bit. There's a risk if it's something not too far away from us, or if it's a scout waiting for that, if they sent for reinforcements to come catch up with us when we're slowing down a little bit on our run east. But I think we need to just juggle it up a little bit, see if we can ascertain what's going on. Maybe look like we're lost a little. Suck our men a little.
Okay.
Every once in a while, if you want to yell, call out that, are we sure we're in there going the right direction? That might be helpful.
Sounds good. I think Callan would have popped up Mr. Decoy as soon as he mentioned it. And he'll just show up and kind of nudge towards the lead as we move to draw any fire.
Okay. So going into day 4 now, you have some ideas, some plans. Theobald, how does day 4 look?
What of my skills would be helpful here? While we're doing juggling up our route a little bit more, not just taking the easiest path east, but being more thoughtful about it. The back of my head's always going to be, all right, if we turn down this draw or we maybe cross this slope a little bit, I can maybe be turning surreptitiously and taking a look and see if we can't see any movement, trying to catch someone who may be following us or flanking us. So just trying to angle our path to try to get that better angle of that better sight lines, more obvious sight lines where I think someone would be smart to be following us, and try to catch a glimpse of them. I'm going to be asking Owl to be going ahead a little ways and sitting in some of those likely paths, and then just sitting still since we're not seeing a lot of wildlife around here, but just trying to drop him kind of
Drop him,
like
you
a camera
pass.
where I think, where I'm thinking that someone might be following us, or where if someone's off on the, like, if I were scoping us out, I'd be sitting on that hill there watching us go through it. So I want to get Owl up to that hill and just kind of keep an eye out and see if we can't ping and catch, basically try to, like a wildlife trap, try to catch somebody in that route. So perception could be survival or perception. Perception.
It has to be perception. You did survival last time.
Yeah. All right. I can do that dice. We're gonna do this dice. Woohoo! It's a 14.
All right. So, day goes on.
No, we're not lost. I know exactly where we're at.
Yeah, there is. You guys
What
do
you
a
said
good
last
job
time.
of. You said that 3 hours ago, and I'm pretty sure I've seen that exact bush. Yeah, you guys play that up fairly well, and you've dropped Owl ahead at times, move past to the point where you lose that connection with Owl until Owl reestablishes a catching back up and kind of conveys what was or wasn't seen.
Lots
The
of nothing.
rain doesn't stop. And no, there's nothing following you. But even Owl keeps that feeling of there's something, like we're definitely being watched. There's no question. We're being watched. And Callan, as you're traveling and you can see as you two have your moments in between, kind of, playing it up to whoever may be watching, you start to catch sight of like a tree trunk or a bush or something where like you've seen like tree trunks that almost look like there's a face on it, or like, and it's like every single time it is a look of fear or a look of a very grotesque, almost angry, orcish face. But the last one is the one that is more different from every other one that you've seen. And you've seen probably over the course of the whole day traveling, probably a dozen. Like just every now and then, all of a sudden it's like, okay, yep, that's disconcerting. You see one that is this on the tree, and it seems to almost have like the sap of the tree dripping down it.
Theobald, what is this?
Not lost, I said.
Callan,
Yeah.
you or Theo, when he points it out, you immediately do what you did, and then you look.
Are those your friends talking to us?
No. Mm-mm. No. No idea. What happens when I like fist bump the fist?
Nothing. But Callan, I will roll me an intelligence check real quick.
14.
Yeah, you're not sure.
All right. Theo's seeing signs all over the place. So he's going to take this as I think Theobald would take this as a warning sign. Callan's got something weird with plants. I think.
Is Owl telling you that anybody's following us or any signs?
There's eyes on us. Is this someone trying to tell us about the bloody fist?
I didn't make that connection. Could be.
Right.
So this is weird. Callan will bust out his monocle and just like look at everything, see if there's any magic signatures.
Roll me a perception check.
18.
You look at the tree trunk where the fist is, and there is absolutely nothing magical. If you didn't know better, it was this way it grew. Doesn't even look like it was carved. It looks like it grew this way. And as you kind of look back to Theobald, you're like,
all right. We got to
you
keep
see almost what looks like just a wisp of smoke just on the limits of what you could actually see on the top of a hill crest between a couple trees, almost like just smoke moving
through the monocle.
Through the monocle.
Theobald, I saw something moving back there, up there.
I'll look.
You see nothing. As you have pointed that out, and now kind of and you like all your body language, you turn and look directly in that direction. Off in the distance at that moment. Theobald, do you remember what an orc hunting horn sounds like?
I would hope so.
Yeah, it's very distant, but that's what that was. And then you hear, after a few moments, further to the north, another one. And then further to the south, you hear another one and another one. And like you just hear echoes of horns being called off.
The first one was to the west of us.
To the west.
Okay. Anything from the east?
Not yet.
Callan, we gotta go.
What's going on?
Pull his shirt. We gotta go.
Okay. Follow Theobald.
Those are hunting parties.
What are
That's
they
a lot
hunting?
that's a lot of hunting parties, Callan.
Oh, okay.
You would know Theobald specifically, but even Callan, hearing that, thinking about it, like probably about a dozen in each party. Each horn was probably around a dozen. And you heard probably 7 or 8 horns.
All right,
Distant.
yeah, I'm gonna run the direction with Theobald.
Don't have to run. We need to be careful. We need to make speed. We will need to run.
So progressing.
Yep.
Okay. Day 5. You are now, it is still raining, and you are fairly certain of what is following you, or rather hunting you. Callan, what are we doing?
Okay. Callan is channeling all of his positivity into meaningful purpose and helping Theobald with carry stuff, and so we can move swiftly and try to keep a good pace with athletics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Going just your pace has changed. You guys are moving quicker, and just maintaining that and really trying to work as a cohesive unit of we gotta hurry. Yeah. Let's see that roll.
19.
19, good. Okay. So yeah, that day through the rain that has not stopped. It hasn't gotten worse, but it has not stopped. You continue that pace, not to a grueling pace, but it is a with purpose. All day you eat your meals on the move. You know what little mushroom here, all that, you're just kind of scavenging and keep moving. Your pace is constant throughout the whole day. Every hour, which almost horribly marks the passage of time, you hear a and then just echoing, all sounding off every hour on the hour. They are keeping pace with you. Whether or not they're choosing to not close in, or if they haven't found you specifically and are trying, they are keeping pace.
We may not even be the targets, but we can't afford to get run over by one of them by accident either.
I have no intention of that. I agree.
Good. It's a little different being on this side of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're relentless, excellent warriors, determined. Yeah, I'd rather not be here.
Eh. Well, if we get tired, we can always try to entertain them, right?
Well, you can.
Callan, as you guys are walking hurried pace, just constant, you kind of can't help but think a little bit about what you do vaguely remember of what your side of this was, as you've experienced so many times of Theo's kind of very in your mind closed view of the Deadwood and the orcs, where it's like you can't help but think of how life wasn't like that when you were growing up, like, or at least what you remember of it.
Right. Callan would have had some idea of the seriousness of and the presence of like very brutal warrior cultures surrounding where he grew up. But one of the main things that is dissonant for him from how Dragonlock perceives the orcs and how you perceive the orcs to his memories is that he remembers very peaceful, calm, helpful, caring environment in the enclave that he grew up in.
Yeah. So as Theo kind of makes that comment, almost half to him, half to yourself, just kind of like it's different from your side of things, and just kind of that offhanded, it's like we were actually really peaceful, like expressing that to him.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, you can, if you want to dive in a little bit to that, otherwise we can keep moving.
Yeah, it's not too much more depth to that. It's just there's just a great contrast between Callan's experiences as a very young child and what everybody else says about
general populace.
Yeah, the Deadwood orcs and barbarians and whatever else he would have experienced. He would have seen at some point as a youth, but not the occupying or attacking soldier side of it.
Okay.
I was on the spear end of a lot of it, so, and we were in the spear end going the other way too. This is the part I'm familiar with.
Well, I'm not going to gamble that these are the nice guys.
They may be plenty nice at home, but that ain't their intention right now. Again, comes down to it. You look like them and you act like them and you get out. We'll try to get out of this together. All right.
Why don't we just get out of this together? Right. Make that the main plan.
Okay. Day 6, Theobald. What does that look like?
Theobald's going to start working on a plan. He's going to be digging through absolutely everything he can remember and think of. Every story he's heard, every action report, and just start thinking, trying to figure out some ways out. Either let the net slide through past him, or slipping it, or outrunning it. So he doesn't have the plans out yet, or he doesn't have that figured out yet. He does know that if it gets down to 1 or 2 hunting parties, we can't just let them just chase us. We need to harry them a little bit. So he's going to start watching his back trail more. We're going to try to keep up a good pace. We're going to try to keep moving ahead, but Theo doesn't expect that, right? He's not particularly familiar with this part of the woods, we're going to end up with backtracks. We're going to end up in places that are harder to slog through. They're going to catch up slowly but surely, or faster, depending. So you can start planning ahead for covering their tracks, being a little more careful, not crossing ridge lines, taking them through streams, trying to do more of a stealth, like sliding through the woods and continue to keep all dropped behind along likely avenues of paths, just quietly, not flying around, just let him sit behind us. And then after a little bit losing contact, kind of taking a circuitous route, coming out, catching up to us, and just trying to figure out where they're at. We got a long ways to go. I don't think we can outrun them. We can try to get as far as we can, but trying to stealth through a little bit more and not be leaving a bunch of tracks and obvious signs.
Okay. So what skill, sir?
Stealth?
Yeah, stealth, absolutely. That makes sense for everything you're doing.
It'll be an 11.
11. Okay. So as you're moving throughout this day, and that pace steadily being like you try to take different paths to try to use the natural terrain that is going to leave less trail, or any kind of stream, is literally anything you can think of. Every time you just find a nice hopeful path where it's like, oh, this is just rock and all that, we could divert from our normal path, take this for however long it goes, get back on our path, hopefully knock them off. And as you're moving, by mid-afternoon, those horns are closer. You can feel it. And even Owl, by the end of the day,
convey to Callan, we're still okay. We'll be fine.
Now, they obviously don't know exactly where you are, but they're gaining. There's enough of them out there that they don't actually have to find your specific trail. They just have to find evidence every now and then of it, and just keep closing a net. Owl at a certain point will get that, not that he's seen anything, but one or two occasions where was nearly shot by an arrow.
Okay.
Day 6 or 7. What did I just say?
7. I think I got day 6.
Yep,
7.
I got day 6. Sorry. Day 7. Callan, what does that look like?
Callan's mood's going sour. He doesn't like this. He's getting tired. He's getting annoyed. Come on, this is stupid and boring. Come on, let's just run or face him or something. Come on. What are we gonna do? He'll petition Terrafin, taking big swigs of his flask. And he'll, randomly catapult a rock every once in a while because he's a little upset. And then he'll just, he'll dig a hole and just mope in it and say, "This is good. We can sit here. This is fine. They'll just let them do what they want to do. They won't see us. Get in, Theo. I'm sick of this.
You're gonna drown. You stay in that hole.
I'll make a bigger hole." So then that would be, I'm shooting for deception with the hiding.
With the hiding, I lean that more towards stealth. Deception is more lying.
Okay. We'll go for stealth.
He just used stealth.
Oh, he just used stealth, so we won't go for stealth.
Not well, but I use.
Okay. I'm annoyed. I'm just throwing it to the wind. I'm petitioning Terrafin, and I'm trying to persuade Theobald even to, come on, let's just knock this crap off and let him just lose interest. So persuasion.
Sure. Yep, that one at least makes sense.
Okay. 17.
17. Okay. Whether or not it is effective, Theobald, as the day goes on, you have talked Callan out of one or two holes, or talked him out of one or two trees. Of just like, this is it. Let's just make our stand here, or let him just pass. Like it's just like, seriously, like I get it. This is getting old. I'm with you. We don't have time for this.
There may come a time, Callan, when we need to hunker down and hide and try to let them pass, and that might actually work. But we need to let them get a little closer.
So you think it's a good idea?
I do think it's a good idea, and I think we're in the end. As they get closer, I think we're gonna have to pull this off. This might be a good idea. This would be when it starts getting down to the wire. We can do something. If it's still raining, we can use your unseen body, manservant, whatever, to make some tracks. We can cover our own tracks. We can send Owl.
It's a good idea.
Flying off south where he can be seen, make it look like we're making a break down south. You and I hide out. You can use your disguise stuff maybe to make us look like, I don't know, trees or dirt or bushes or something. We can hide in a hole. This isn't a bad idea, Callan.
As you're saying all this,
just not right now.
Theobald, all of a sudden interrupting that conversation, you suddenly hear in your head, dear husband, I sincerely hope that you are doing well. We do have help coming. They are looking. We're not sure where you are. Be safe.
Is this like the
You're familiar with sending.
okay?
I hope you understand who that was.
Hold the hand up for Callan. Wife. Honey, dear.
Maybe sugar.
2-3 weeks west in Deadwood. Need rendezvous. Lots of help. Orc band 50. Continuing east. Is that 20?
25 technically is what you're allowed.
Okay, somewhere. We'll listen for instructions. Sweetie.
Okay.
Theobald, you're getting married? And you're hiring an orc band?
Come on.
Oh, am I invited?
Grab his shirt and come on. It's a good idea. We need to, but just not right now. If they get closer, we'll try to shake them with a hiding out in a hole. But we'll do it.
It's a good idea. You're talking about digging a hole, not marrying them, right?
No, not them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Tell Sia was reaching out to us.
And you're making wedding plans.
They're sending.
Day 8. Well, yeah, that's perfect. Day 8. What does that look like? There, Theo.
Oh crap.
Hey, come on. Oh, yay, you know.
All right. Based off of Callan's ideas here, how any way to judge about how far these hunting horns are?
Within a day. Like they're on that reach of like they could catch you in a day if you stop moving, you know.
Right. We're gonna be this might be it, Callan. This might be it. Make sure and trash the camp. All right. I'm going to be looking at every trick I've ever heard of, every trick in the book. Telling Callan everything I can think of that we can maybe use to hide our tracks. And we're going to be doing a slow, steady pace, trying to find a creek or river or something that looks like we've gone to ground or hit that water and follow the river north or south. So we're not, there's a reason that we don't have tracks. So I need to find that river, ideally with some bluffs, some muddy bluffs or something along those lines. And then we're going to try to pull that plan off where Callan helping disguise us in some way, shape or form, and or digging pits or things, faking some wiping out some tracks, faking some tracks into the creek. And then going to be dropping Owl where he can be seen and tell him to make a run for it south as long as he can along that creek, but wait until we see something.
Yeah.
So just delving into everything Theobald has ever heard, every trick he's heard and learned over the years to try to implement this in one grand escape maneuver.
Okay.
History?
Yeah, absolutely.
My weakest one, but
Hey.
come on. Natural 20. Natural 20.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
There you go.
Plus 4.
You guys won't believe it.
All right. Hey.
All right.
The sun shines.
No, we
Adam
don't want the
gave
shine
that
just
one.
yet. We wanted the rain.
So yeah, that 8th day, as you get moving, you like Callan, you very quickly are kind of spectating, seeing him as you guys are traveling, and it's like, all right, any ideas? What do you think we should do? You see that kind of look of like a beautiful mind that's seeing like the blueprint in front of and yeah, and it's like, and as you guys are both traveling, you are like, you start to feel like just from the rain, not a creek, not a river, but actually you can see an area that is right on the I believe you.
I know, but I gotta
I need it recorded.
Adam's not here, so I gotta show it off.
Adam gave you
Yeah.
that one.
You see evidence of like where there's gonna be a mudslide here, and you like have like Callan, I need you to dig into that and weaken that area, and together you guys kind of mold the geography of this area so that very quickly like you can start moving freely and quickly, knowing that within the hour a mudslide is going to really change the whole area of the landscape, just from sheer the weather, the rain, the mud, everything. And as you close on the 8th day, you hear like behind you, you hear all like trees breaking, falling, crashing as a tidal wave of mud and water just from a hilltop down to the valley below mudslides down, erasing any evidence that you were ever even in the area. As you close that day and hear those horns, you firmly know they are slightly more distant. All right, next day. You wake up. There's actually, the rain is reducing. It's still raining, but more of a sprinkle. Callan, what does this day look like?
Okay. I am using basically investigation to kind of. So I was so impressed by Theobald's little going into himself and just thinking hard, just paying attention to more of the soldierly way he carries on in the woods,
Mhm.
and trying to be that focused, and look for anything that may give us an advantage in mobility or counter mobility against anyone coming for us, or just a general advantage in surviving this predicament with investigation.
Okay.
All right, so 19.
19. You guys keep pushing that DC down. All right. Yeah. As the new day goes and you resume your steady pace, you are kind of, like you said, taking that kind of presence, that well thought out strategy that Theobald had done, and you start thinking on your own strategies, things that you have done, you've seen that maybe have a little bit more flair to them. But as you start traveling and moving, you actually start to think of just little fun little diversions. And as you see a tree that is like almost has like that kind of feel to it of like, you know, everyone's seen a tree that kind of like, oh, that kind of looks like, you know, like a silhouette of a person. Well, you use a little mold earth, tip and change its positioning, and start to give a lot of different trees in the area, whether it be through a quick placement of this and that there and all that, to where it's like there's constantly, if you're glancing, almost looks like, is that somebody? Oh no, it's a tree. No, start moving. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, it's another freaking tree. No. And just almost using the landscape and that natural kind of weird harmony you also have with some plant life, using the landscape to your advantage, looking into which ones would actually make a good diversion if somebody picked your trail back up, or maybe thinking someone was just doing some weird Halloween kind of decorating to the trees in this forest and making them more eerie. But nonetheless, you move forward confident that anyone who is following you, at least, is going to be slowed down looking into this.
Evil keeps checking to make sure he's coming along.
Yeah,
and
Theobald, you
giving
definitely
minor
have a
heart
couple
attacks.
times where it's like, damn it, Callan.
Good work. Good work.
It's good, right? Yeah.
I'll occasionally, you're being fought. Nope, it's another one of his. Nope. They're really good. Yeah, you keep moving.
His advantage on perception, not doing us favors on this one. So.
No. I'm sure it moved. No, breeze. Sorry. So as you go now into, I believe, day 10, what does that look like, Theobald?
We're going to be stretching out. Have we? All right. We seem to be fairly comfortably ahead, so I'm going to talk to Callan and try to coach him through just being a little more stealthy through the fort, like just trying to not leave tracks. And right, we've got time where we could slow down and be more careful about our footing, and just try to really make sure that we lose them, and get a good day's worth of where ideally they have a hell of a time trying to follow us and pick us up from our tracks. So, so stealth again.
Used, what did you use last? History last time. So yeah, you can use stealth. Sorry.
Okay. It'd be a 16.
16. Okay. Yeah, you continue moving, and just with the time, throughout that day, you continue to make advances in hiding your trails, hiding your back trails, moving with the natural anywhere that can obfuscate your actual path where you've taken, and potential leaving multiple choices of like in this area, like it could have gone that way or that way. There's no way to know. By the time you get to resting that evening, you once again hear those horns, but they are even further away, though still in multiple directions. But you definitely feel like you are escaping that net. That evening again, as you're kind of talking, both of you eating some food, refueling, knowing the next day that lies ahead, suddenly you hear again, Theobald, sweetie, I'm telling you, keep going due east. Friend is there. She's dirty, but I think she can help. Trust me.
Oh, we were doing pretty good until she said that last part. Oh,
Yeah, his posture completely changes. Like he's just kind of eating, all of a sudden.
Oh, he's on the phone again. Gotcha.
Yeah.
due east at speed. Got it. And thank you, honey.
You will, as that evening closes, and everything, you'll hear one more. You will. And you'll just hear, there's a lot of scary things going on. Seely knows where you're going to be. Don't come back yet. And that's it.
Alan,
Yeah, what's up?
Telsia says there's a lot of scary things going on. Seely knows where we're going to be. And Telsia says, don't come back yet. And that was it.
What do you
The first
think that
message she
meant?
said to trust to go due east. You heard that part. I repeated that part. There's someone waiting to meet us who's dirty. But Telsia thought she could help. And Telsia said to trust her. Or Telsia said, trust me. Meaning Telsia was saying, trust me. Not me. Telsia was saying, trust me. Trust Telsia. Trust Telsia. Last time we talked
through that, I don't really trust that you conveyed that message well.
I mean, I trust that you trust that we trust, but
So, so I'm supposed to trust that you trust.
last time Telsia and I talked, she wasn't even sure she was going to stay in the Dragonbound Guild. At the Scalebound Guild.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on. But keep your ears open whenever we meet up with whoever this is. She said, keep going due east.
Are we going due east?
We've been more or less going east, but from here tomorrow we're gonna have to take a chance. They're far enough away. We'll have to go straight east and hope that we run into whoever this is. We'll have to keep your eyes peeled. It sounds like one person.
One dirty person.
Which by Telsia standards might be like Theobald still has burnt clothes and has not even like
That's
we're looking
fair.
pretty filthy at this point.
That's fair. Her standard is different.
Yeah. So I don't get what she sees in you.
I don't either, Kellen. Come here. Let's try to do this calling all thing again. I'll see if I can try it one more time and show you.
Okay.
If something happens to me, maybe this will come in useful for you at some point.
Roll me an intelligence check.
Oh, natural 20.
Oh,
So that'd be a 22.
22. Whether or not the days of exhaustion have gone to Theo's head to where Theo finally stopped being the soldier, but he's actually communicating with like actual emotion, actual thought in those emotions, and how he feels when he makes that connection, how he commands Owl, how he can summon Owl. Arcanely speaking, this is all gibberish that makes absolutely no sense. But there's things that you can actually start to make some strings of sense, arcanely speaking. I would like
Owl to
you
bite you. Maybe that'll help.
roll me an intelligence check first.
Okay.
Of he has communicated very articulately, but now you are kind
Once
of
in a lifetime
re-engineering.
opportunity here.
Yep. So that's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Good. Okay. Now, using what he has conveyed to you in this moment, and it makes enough sense that you're those strings that you're kind of like, okay, I think there's something there, and maybe something there. Make me an arcane check or arcana.
17.
Okay. You can make a new note on your character sheet. Find familiar. 1.
1.
You have one successful kind of, and as you kind of think about these things, you start to like kind of in a notebook start to kind of write down some ideas of, I wouldn't even call them actual arcane formula, seeing as you are not formally chained. But you make Kellen formulas and start to write down different things that shorthand wise probably almost look like a mixologist kind of. It's like, okay, yeah, okay, you have the first beginnings of a step of re-engineering a divine spell into an arcane spell.
Okay.
So as each time that you take the time necessary, and in the beginning, it will require Theobald to continue expressing and you to take that new information to make the next steps. After you hit enough steps there, then you need to start sinking money and time into experimenting. After you have made the necessary checks and time there, you will have your own version of Find Familiar.
All right.
It's a little bit more difficult just for the sheer fact of you're not learning this from a wizard who can convey this, and you're using the same kind of fuel.
Yeah.
You're turning a diesel into a battery car, All right, probably, to be honest, it's the opposite.
Vegetable oil.
Yeah.
A burrito burner.
Yeah. So it could be done.
Huh.
A lot of tweaking. So we're going to fast forward just a little bit. You guys have done well. You've given me the general sense of the day's travel. The next few days, the weather will slowly recede to where it's no longer raining. You had enough rain. Everything seems like it was going to be wet forever. No amount of oil or beeswax protected everything. You finally had some more humid days. maybe potentially another storm coming, winding up for something more, or maybe you'll pass, but you keep moving. Due east. You get one or two more messages. One, Mick, you get from Sealy that makes very little sense, but it talks about that you're not on time yet. You need to go faster. You're going to be late. You're going to be late. The dance is never going to be done if you don't hurry. You're on the wrong beat.
Okay. Sealy sounds like she's telling us to hurry up because we'll be late, but I don't know if that means we should actually hurry up because she's always on time but thinks she's late.
Yeah, I don't understand all that.
Huh? Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, Kellen. I've just never understood her when she says that.
Right.
She didn't give you anything to give to me, did she?
Oh, no.
All right.
You're probably good. Yeah, I'll give you a big warning if there's any indication of that.
I'd really appreciate it. One of these times she's going to give me something I actually want. I'm not going to be able to trust it.
You keep going. Eventually, due east, you find as you are making your way, you start to hear voices.
Both of us?
Both of you, very quickly. Like one of you may pick it up before the other, but very like, hey, shh, and then you both hear it. You hear two slightly higher pitched male voices in the distance. Sounds like they're just talking, a little arguing. And then you hear a little more gravel of a voice and kind of quietly make your way through some brush and some trees and kind of look down a hillside. You see a small fire. And you see three figures there. Two of them smaller. At first glance, it looks almost like a homeless person with two children. But then as you kind of watch and look a little bit more carefully, you see, it's two gnomes. One with a, like, you know how dandelion, poof, like their hair looks like dandelion fuzz. One pink, one blue. And they're kind of laughing, kind of joking, constantly gesturing and talking towards the kind of dirty homeless person. And at this distance, you can't really see defining features, but you can hear them talking, every now and then giggling. And then all of a sudden you hear in the distance again, just kind of breaking you out of that moment of like, what is going on down there? A little bit closer, but still a good day and a half away. Another one of those horns. And all three figures kind of straighten up a little bit and look directly in your direction, because that's the direction the horn came from, and see you two. And down by the fire, one of the like gnome or children shapes with the blue hair steps out. Hello there. Who goes?
This isn't Finley, is it?
Finley? I don't know.
Well, they saw us, right?
Yep.
You might as well come out. You're the jig is up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're done traveling. Sweet. Callan just jump out and kind of slide down the hill or whatever in a flourish. And hey, hello, Callan Den. How are you doing?
Kind of looks at, sees you kind of come down that flourish, and he's just like, just kind of half claps a little bit, and the other one walks up next to him and slaps him. He's got the pink hair. Yeah, mighty well entertaining bit there. name's Chandler Flem. This is my brother Wigant. And friends call me Cha. You can call him Wiga. But just letting you know, we are dangerous people that you don't want to take advantage of. But if you're friendly, you're welcome to join us by a fire and share a meal. But mind you, and he kind of gestures over his shoulder towards the homeless, just rags and like this almost beehive of dreadlocks woman behind. We haven't figured her out yet. Just kind of. And with the blue hair, apparently Wiga, just kind of just like, he's just still like, more? And he's just,
yes.
Stop it.
So you
Callan hasn't started shooting anybody yet. So
What?
Callan apparently hasn't started shooting
Oh.
anybody yet. So I will come down the hill and just relax the grip on the bow a little bit, on the Blackstaff bow a little bit. And I will follow him down the hill to this party.
Kind of looks you up and down, and he's like, with the Wiga with the blue hair, just kind of, you do any tricks?
I make people disappear.
Next
Next to him, he's just like slaps. He's like,
so did you two dangerous chaps, you don't know anything about this person, yet did you invite her to just come sit with you?
well, to be honest, this is her fire. We just got here. We're not that we need a safe place, but we're looking for a place to rest our head for the night.
Well, listen, gentlemen, we're not here to mess with you. You can drop the ruse. No need to be dangerous right now. We like you guys. We don't want to bother you.
Next to the pink hair or the blue hair would just kind of tell everybody, he's like, eh? You know, like, and he's, fair enough, we'll go at ease, sirs.
Of course.
And with blue hair, he just kind of just walks back to the fire, just plops down. Chandler just kind of looks at you both, and he's like, it really doesn't matter anymore. I'm come to the fire. I'm cooking if you're hungry, making a stew. It'll take a little bit, but it should be quite delicious. I promise at least that much, that you'll be well fed and not want to hurt me because of anything besides the fact of you have a full tummy that was delicious, and you should not hurt small people. And he just kind of starts walking back towards the fire where there's a pot.
Okay. So I have that handkerchief. I'll try to clean myself up with it. The one that does the blinding flash. So I'll just kind of flick it off, and if I remember right,
Miraculously has a charge left, and then
well, I won't try to trigger the blinding flash. No, I'm just cleaning myself up.
Yeah. So you just kind of wipe off and.
Yeah. And
Chris, you're blurry.
Offer it to Theobald.
Who's
just
hiding?
blurry. Who's just blurry.
New spell.
So yeah, blur yourself again, and I'll wipe you in.
Yeah. Theobald will just kind of look down at himself and there's no help in this, Callan, at this point.
All right, then I'll just nonchalantly offer it to the raggedy looking wanderer. See if she wants it.
So you both kind of try to, well, some more than others, an effort to make yourself a little bit more presentable. And though taking a moment this evening, knowing you have at least right now a day and a half ahead of those horns,
or at least one of them anyway. Yeah.
at least one of them, take refuge at this campfire with 3 new strangers, 2 gnomes and a rag woman of sorts. That's where we're going to leave off this week. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. Had a little bit of travel, all needed, but just a reminder to check out all of the new episodes of Down with Dragons that goes on to YouTube normally within the next day. Also new episodes of Dungeon Patrol. They are still putting those out, and I'm behind, but I'm getting excited. I like where I'm at. Also, any inspiration you'd like to give out, Down with Dragons mailbag at gmail.com, as well as adding to the ever growing table of what is in Callan's mouth, or what's coming out of Callan's mouth. And just reach, if you would like to get in contact with us in any way, to whether it be inspiration, whether it be just your fan, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Discord. Reach out. We love hearing from anybody who has any thoughts. Otherwise, have a great week. We will see you next week as we pick up with finding who these 3 mysterious figures are. Have a great week.
Thanks, everybody.
Stay safe.